will help to increase the skills of both adults and young people in decision making, conflict resolution. So the goal is really to support adults and the young people for positive change. So this empowerment program for adults and youth will focus solely on the individual, developing the individual and empowering them, okay? Every individual in the constituency, okay? The second plan is to construct a much needed early childhood development center to serve the community of Oleon, Despinoz, and the neighboring pocket communities. This center will help to respond to the increase in the high demand for early childhood services, such as the daycare, the preschool education, in an environment that is safer, that is child-friendly, and that is more conducive to learning. The structures that are currently being used in Oleon do not meet most of the requirements as outlined in the Early Childhood Education Code of Practice. Okay, so this is a community that has suffered over the years as it relates, and the early childhood practitioners keep talking about it, that this is something that they have been asking for so long, and I believe that the time is right for them to be assisted in that way. The Dennery North Development Fund is one that has to be set up. Now, this is unprecedented because that has never happened in Dennery North. Okay? It is one that I will be setting up to provide support to our constituents, to give back to the constituents, to help in bursaries, to help the minibus drivers, also in paying for the insurance, the vehicle insurance. And I have already discussed with them. I had a meeting with the Minibus Drivers Association in the Valley, and we spoke about some of the plans. And they also, through our engagement, they were able to tell me some of the ways by which they want to be assisted and basically improve the service that they provide to the constituents. I know that it is difficult for many parents to provide for the children in terms of the school implements, books, and so on, uniforms, or even to provide a meal, you know, to take them to, so that they can go to school, they can learn and sit, be attentive in class, and not worry about not worry about being hungry or where they're going to have lunch and what the parents would have provided. So this fund will help to provide some bus subsidies for the parents and to help in the school feeding, some of the school feeding programs in Dennery North. So as I said to you earlier, Minister, I need your support to revamp sports in Dennery North. We need to revamp sporting activities in Dennery North. Yes. Yes. That's important. Because in Dennery North, sports is synonymous with football. Football and to a lesser extent cricket. I played netball for the Mabuya Valley. There are many other sporting disciplines that we need to bring back so that our young sports personalities can develop the true sporting disciplines or sporting potential, okay, or the abilities. And so when we revamp sports by bringing in netball, you know, tennis, volleyball, softball, cricket, the hule laba that, you know, some of you might be familiar with that will help to target many more persons, and not just persons, those who want to play sports, football or cricket. We also want to engage the older persons. There are those who played cricket and football a long time ago. So the veterans, we want to engage the older persons as well. So it is one thing to have a sporting facility in Dennery North and not have programs to encourage that engagement.
Right.
Okay? So the programs will form a critical part of that revamping. As a former Scout leader, I believe that many of our children have too much time on their hand. Particularly when school is closed, they are idle.
Yes.
So one of the immediate plans would be to bring back those uniformed groups.
Yes.
I have spoken with quite a few scouts, and they are willing to help to bring back, to resuscitate these uniform groups. So the guide movement, scout movement, we want to do that. There are those who might be interested in playing pan.
Yes.
When there are no opportunities for children and the young people, or avenues for young people to come in and to be engaged, to make use of their time, meaningful use of their time, we know what happens.
Yes.
They engage in other things that are not contributing to their overall development. So these are the kinds of things that we want to do to engage the young people. In Dennery North, there isn't a community library. There is need for that. And an ICT center. That community library will serve all the pocket communities in Dennery North, as well as the schools. I know the schools have their own, libraries, but then that is not enough. When school is closed, what happens? So we need a place where that the children can go to, other persons in the constituency can go to, and even visitors can go to when they need certain services. Okay? Part of that plan would also involve an after-school program. Now, I remember being part of the council in 2017 when we developed an after-school program. And so the work has started.
Yes.
It is about putting the structures in place and ensuring that, we engage our young people even beyond the bell. Okay?
I'm sure your constituents have taken your soon-to-be constituents have taken note, and they're looking forward to the implementation of some of those plans. Yes. We are going to move over to you, Fortuna. And for you now, you are not a newcomer like Phera. You've been around. Yeah. You run the last elections. It has been 5 years with you being a senator and a member of cabinet. So the question I have for you is actually two parts. How have you changed the lives of the people of Castries East? And what are some of the plans that you're hoping to implement after you have won that constituency at the next general elections?
Thank you very much, Sabi, for the questions. I think the interesting thing for me with the journey was that after the elections, the people kept coming.
Yes.
And so what it did for me was to force me, in a sense, you understand, to respond in the way that I should. And so immediately I sought to put structure, you understand, to what was happening with respect to the response of the people. So what we did was we established a day that was available to them. And so they would come every Wednesday, engaging, talking about their experiences, talking about their problems, and much of the stresses that Sarah has talked about. They cannot do this, they do not have the resources for this, And so we did that. And we had over 5,000 engagements in the last 5 years. you understand, with people from that constituency, you know, who wanted to become a part and who were just keen on finding their way. And a lot of it, in terms of the experience I have to share, has been around family life, relationships, helping build relationships, helping young men find their way, helping young women find their way, helping families heal wounds, you understand, within. And interestingly, you also have a number of people who had capacity to do for themselves, but just needed that that push, you know, to move on. So what we did was we were able to work with them, and of course, to a large extent, found employment for some, helped some create and find, you know, create their own employment. We were also able to influence some of the government programs within the constituency, because, you know, you have schools, you have community facilities. The important thing was there's also the elder care program, a great program, you know, that was developed a few years ago. And so the elder care program is where we look out for the elderly, because some people are just not able to care for the elder parents. And so what we were able to do was to ensure that there was better leadership of that program and better structure and arrangements locally within that program. So we're quite happy with what we're seeing. We're quite happy with the response that we're getting from families. And of course, the service has been excellent, you know, to date by the young ladies who provide, or women who provide the service. Hats off to the government with respect to that program. We also did, I have also done quite a bit of work around sponsorships of clubs, community personnel, facilitating the government bursary programming within the constituency. And when necessary, we've been able to assist in terms of building small drains and that sort of thing, you know, within the system. A critical area for us too was the fact that we were able to assist in government short-term employment program, and to understand now that in terms of moving forward, there are some things that we really must do. Right. And one of the critical things we must do as part of the engagement process is to set up the structure that she was talking about. So we need to have, in much the same way that you have the Castries City Council, we need to have a council looking after the affairs of Castries East. Right. This is too loose as it is at the moment. So we need to have a council to be able to take care of some of the issues and concerns of the people. And with capable people in there who can respond in the right way, you know, to make it, make the services available as they should. In terms of the whole housing is a major issue in that constituency. And housing, land tenure, these are issues, and that's why for me I cannot believe you've had a representation for 25 years in there, but still there is no structure around land tenure and housing for the marginalized people. I mean, that's a shocker when you look at you've had representation for 25 years, you know, and even if you are not always in government, but at least one would see the legacy of the work that you did around housing for people, you know, and so it's part of my government's plan to ensure that we improve the housing. And I really want to thank Minister Flood-Beaubrun, you know, for introducing us to social housing, you know, which is something that will come through perhaps in Castries Central first, but at least we will get that support, you know, because anything that happens in Castries Central also benefits us, you know, in Castries East. So we are looking to ensure that we improve the housing, you know, particularly for those persons who are vulnerable and marginalized within that community. It's just too heartbreaking, heart-wrenching to go into these homes, you know, and then of course the whole question of the sewer system and toilets. You know, in a city of Castries in 2021, you know, we need to be able to address that in Castries East. The other critical thing for us, and which is not difficult, through the Village Tourism Project, we want to work on enhancing the outlook. You understand? The look and feel of the community. We want to be able to improve on that. You know, because when a place is clean, it's warm, it's fresh, it's inviting, everybody wants to come. Because we want to make this place the sporting and entertainment capital of St. Lucia. And so for us to do that, we must ensure that the place fits the bill, so that people like you would want to come and be relaxed and free, you understand, in our environment. So these are some of the things we want to do, and when as we continue to engage the people within the council setting, I think there's a lot more that we can achieve. The plans are very long, but I think what we want to do is ensure that we have the structure and have the engagement process, you understand, so that we can respond, you know, to the people in the way that we ought to. These are some of the plans that we have. But there are a lot more in terms of empowering people, ensuring that they have the skills, and building leadership capacity, boosting self-esteem through strong programs in sport, etc. And of course, importantly, taking care of those single mothers to ensure that they are able to go out and look for work once we empower them. So we also need to ensure that we have expansion in the services that we provide, you understand, for the preschoolers, you know, within the various centers in Pave, Bocage, you know, they've been asking, you know, for those kinds of services to be provided for them. So we'll be looking at all of this, but we need the people involved. We need the structure to embrace them, to have the discourse, to move forward. It's too loose, it's too individual. They were all coming to me, and I think we need to ensure that we have a better structure where that can be delivered in much the same way that Sarah does that beautiful synergy program.
Yes. I know. Well, I must say, Fortuna, if you are able to, you know, remedy the housing issues in your constituency, especially, you know, all of the issues with the sewer systems, that will be a major achievement.
Absolutely.
And it will, because it directly improves the life, you know, of people. So I think that alone, if you are able to do that, is really going to make a big difference in the lives of the people of Castries.
Yes, thank you. It will transform it.
It will, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Thank you so much,
You're welcome.
Fortuna. Now we are moving over to Auntie Sarah, who we don't know if she's still Auntie Sarah. Maybe it has graduated to something like Boss Lady Sarah. Boss Lady Sarah. The Synergy program is your brainchild. It was launched in 2018, and you know, I remember the launching, the lovely purple that everybody was wearing. Was it lilac or purple or plum?
Lilac, I think.
Lilac.
We have many different colors
Well,
now, but the base color is
I
lilac.
remember that time.
Yes.
I remembered seeing that purple plum color. How has that program impacted the lives of your constituents in terms of, first of all, employment for your constituents, and secondly, in terms of the development of life skills for the people of Castries Central?
Very good question. There's so much I could say about Synergy, but I know that time is limited. It goes by very quickly on a set like this. But I want to go back to when I was elected in 2016. Of course, my journey started way before 1997. And at that time, I was very young. I had no experience in politics. I just jumped into the water and started to swim like a duck, literally. And but one thing that there are two stories I want to share that inspired my entering into politics back in 1997, and how that now has taken me to where we are with Synergy. I was a young lawyer in private practice. I had been called to the bar just about a year and a half before that. And there were two stories that inspired me and made me want to move from practicing law to shaping law and public policy. One of them was, I used to teach at the prisons, at Her Majesty's prisons. When I had some spare time from my chambers, I'd go across to the prisons, which was then on Bridge Street, and I would teach the prisoners, English mainly. And as I was leaving one time, I heard a call, "Miss, miss, miss." And I looked back and I saw a 16-year-old boy who was at Her Majesty's prisons just looking through the grill gate. So I went back and he said, "Miss, miss, I don't know when my case is, and I've been here for quite a while. Can you find out for me when my case is?" So I said, "Okay, I'll do that." So I went back to my chambers and did some research, and then I found out that the young boy had been there for almost a year or more, and he was literally forgotten in the system. So I went back and I inquired, and he was sharing a cell with about 10 men. And I mean, those cells were so small. I don't know if you've ever been to the old prison. You would not imagine. And there he was sharing the cell with those 10 men, and my heart bled. First of all, I asked myself, but how could a 16-year-old boy be at Her Majesty's prisons? I thought he would have to be at Mossad Boys Training Center. So to cut a long story short, I brought his mother to court, and the case was dropped. And I haven't seen him since, to be honest, but I'm told he's a big man on the cruise ship. I see his mom and his sister. Maybe one day I will meet up with him. I still remember his face. I know exactly what his smile looks like. And I went back to my chambers, and I was very sad. I said to myself, how could a system be so bad that has a young boy in there and is forgotten in the system? And I'm just sitting here as a lawyer waiting to apply the law. The law should not allow that. That was one of the stories that really, really touched me. And there was another case where a lady came into my office and she said, look here, I can't remember whether she was married or not, but she says, my partner is beating me and I need to get him out of the house. I said, sure enough, we can apply for a protection order. I said, but where will you sleep tonight? I said, if we file this tonight and it doesn't get served and he finds out, you will be in more danger. Where will you sleep? She said, well, last night I slept on the square, so I suspect I'll sleep there tonight. And that was very sad for me because we had just passed the Domestic Violence Summary Proceedings Act. And then I said, but the law is there, but it puts women in more danger because there is not a shelter. When they use the law to fight for their rights, they're now in more danger of being hurt. So that inspired me to say, look, I can't just sit in my chambers and wait to apply the law. There needs to be a system to support the law. Otherwise, people are going to be in more trouble. And it was around that time, elections was, preparations for elections. And I remember walking outside the parliament. And at that time, I remember the farmers were agitating. I can't remember what exactly it was, but it was late at night. I left my chambers on Bridge Street and I was walking over Constitution Park. And then I saw the lights in Parliament. I said, you know something? That's where I need to be. I need to be where the laws are being enacted. And the systems and policies are being shaped. I can't just sit in my chambers waiting to apply just any law that comes. And I think that was a deciding moment for me. When I listen to people's stories, I take it home with me. And it might be a while before I can do something about it, but I don't forget it. And I think of what the solution can be. So when I came back into politics in 2016, I didn't think I would be back, but I ended up back. I said to myself that, first of all, I wanted to give people the best of me. That I'd been in this before, I'd had the experience of being a minister of government. I knew how the system worked. I had the experience of Castry Central, as I said. I mean, there are people who have children now. One of the persons who works in my constituency office used to come to my children's parties. Let's just put it that way. And I said, if I'm going to come back to serve these people who've given so much to me, I want to give the best of me. And I said that I wanted to know each person by name. Very tall order, especially when you're getting, after you hit 50s, you look at people who you went to school with and you can't even remember their names. You're struggling to find it. But the point I wanted to make was that I wanted a personalized approach, not a one-size-fits-all. And that's where Synergy came about, because we started to see at our constituency office so many people who came. I mean, we have seen close to 2,000 people. I'm not talking about repeat visits, people who have come for the first time, and the number of repeat visits, and people were just coming for the same things. Employment. Almost everything was related to a lack of the financial means to do something. So whether somebody came for medical care, whether they came for housing, whether they came for help with bursaries, it was all related to the lack of the financial or the resources they need to do things, by and large. And we saw people coming who were young, who were retired, who really should not be working at this time. But sometimes their children who perhaps wanted to help them were facing their own unemployment issues. So I felt that we had to have structure, as Fortuna said. Absolutely structure. Because I kept seeing those people coming and coming and coming. And what were we offering them? So it was at that point I thought we really need to have a program that is going to train people, is going to prepare them for the workplace, is going to help them, if they are working, to have greater mobility, to to improve their skills and have greater mobility in the workplace. But we also found that there were lots of people who were trained but didn't have the social skills. Also, many of our constituents were saying that when they applied for jobs, they didn't say they were from Wilton's Yard, or they didn't say they were from Fonigua, or they didn't say they were from Wapatat, because some employers perceived that if they came from these areas, perhaps they were not the best people to employ. I say no. Lots of our people who work with us are from Central Castries, and we have many great people with fine skills and attributes in our constituency. But sometimes the message gets disseminated differently. So we knew we had to have a program that would train people, would provide the life skills, but it also would act as a cover. So when employers knew, well, okay, this person is associated with this program, almost like, wow, this program is a program that I can depend on. And I mean, we've had Sandals calling us, do you have anybody? We've had people calling and say, do you have anybody that you can send to us? And that is the kind of structure we wanted to create. So, quite a mouthful, I've said a lot, but to say that we've created more than 20 programs. And what is our philosophy? What is our policy? First of all of our programs come out of a need that someone has.
Right.
We don't just stay and create a program. Someone comes, they explain to us what the story is, and we try to find the best way of resolving it. And our principle is, if there's a program out there that we can direct you to that already exists, we will do it. If there's a program out there that can support you but needs some further strengthening, we will reach out and try to do that. If there is not a program out there to assist you, we will create one. And I have to say, before talking about our programs, just recently we created a new program called Synergy Care. Just to give you an example, how did it come about? There was a constituent of mine who, he himself is not very well. His mother had just passed. And even before his mother was buried, his only brother had a stroke. So there he was, himself not very well, had a death on his hands, his mother to bury, and his only brother suffered a stroke and needed help completely. And he called and said, I need help.
Right.
And this person didn't have a home caregiver at the time. And we couldn't find one that could be assigned to him. We couldn't say we couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
So we had to find the support structure that would provide him with that help. And so it so happened in our Synergy database, we have a whole list of persons who have already been trained as caregivers. We know who the student nurse aides are, so we quickly put a team together to provide support to him. And now that's how Synergy Care has started. So that what we have done is augment even the existing elder care program, not recreating it, but creating an enhanced version of it, because we have this constituent who needs care all round for the time being. So I just want to give an example, and every single one of our programs has started this way. And another program that we just started is called Synergy Systems, because with all the programs we have developed, we want to make sure we're developing best practice models. That when this person goes into someone's home, they're doing it in absolutely the best way. So we have Synergy Systems is making sure that all of the protocols, all the best practices, the procedures, the standards, the monitoring, the evaluation is happening right across the board, so that we're not only giving our people of Castries and Central the best there is to offer, but we're creating a prototype that can be replicated if necessary, not just in St. Lucia, but in the wider Caribbean, if be. So there are lots of other programs that I want to talk about. I don't know if I have the time. You will please guide me. I will just run through quickly if I can.
Well, we are due for a break, but when we return, let's see if we have some more time, and we'll let Sarah tell us some more about her programs. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ladies. This was, I'm sure the constituents have listened, and they have taken note of some of the things that you are planning to implement within your various constituencies. We're due for another break. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
All I want for 2021 is my sweet rose. Fortuna Belrose. I want her to take that seat. Not only take, I want her to sit in that seat because I know she'll contribute something to the country. Trust me, she will do it. 2021, that's my rose. Fortuna Belrose. Thank you.
What separates us is our ability to recognize your needs and to work towards addressing them. Providing opportunities, dreaming big, and delivering bigger. What separates us is passionate representation, meticulous guarding of our social and economic indicators, and working with and for you during the most trying time in recorded history. What separates us is a cabinet guided by God for the protection, progress, and prosperity of our St. Lucia. The United Workers' Party. Let's keep working.
Welcome back, everyone, and thank you so much for staying with the Flood-Beaubrun Forum. Before the break, we were speaking to Sarah about her Synergy program. We're going to go right back to that, and this time around, she's going to tell us some of the programs that make up the entire Synergy vibe in Castries Central.
So what I will do, Sabi, is list the programs because I know the time is short, but I want to thank my constituents for embracing this program because, I mean, it is your stories, it is the fact that you trust me with your stories and what you're going through, that you've told me them in such a way, you've shared them with me, that has given me the burning desire to respond to you. So I want to thank you for creating the Synergy program, for embracing it. And I want to thank the team that works with me. It's certainly not me that has done this. It's everybody. Those who've told the stories, those who've helped to implement it, and those who participate in it. So this is our journey that we need to continue working on. So if I may just list very quickly the Synergy programs. We have Urban Grow, which is our agriculture program. Trade Tech, which provides skills for tradesmen. Joy Homemakers is our hospitality program. Harvest, culinary skills. Synergy Gold is caring for older persons and celebrating them. Wash and Browse, our car wash that you know at Conway. Synergy Care, I spoke about that earlier. Synergy Support, Minister Belrose spoke about giving support, and we want to give it in a structured way. So Synergy Support does that. Synergy Twin, that is an after-school program for young persons. Clean, Green and Safe, that cares about our environment. Synergy Housing, really, really important. And under Synergy Housing, in addition to the repairs that we do in the homes and the support we give to persons, you would have seen our first house project for vulnerable women and children, and we have Horizon coming up. Horizon is mentoring and sheltering for young men and boys. Synergy Pathway, that's our personal development program. This is at the heart of what we do. When someone comes to the constituency office and they sign our Synergy form, if they don't take personal development, we take it for them because that is at the heart of what we do. Synergy Sport, where we support sporting organizations. Synergy Learning Academy, we do maths classes and we support persons in finding other accredited courses and we assist them with that. Synergy Hub, we intended to implement, but of course COVID has stopped that. We intend to have hubs in all the communities to spread our services within the communities. And we have our Personal Development Center, which we call Pathway. There we provide counseling and our other support services. And also we have our Synergy Resource Center. So all of these we've done in the past 5 years. When I've been silent, I've been
Working.
reflecting, reflecting on the stories, and from very deep within, we've been creating the programs to respond. And coming up in the next term of office, throughout all the stories and throughout everything that we've seen, there are two absolutely important priorities for me. Jobs, to continue to provide training and employment. And secondly, housing. It starts with housing. There needs to be an assault on poor housing in this country. We need to tackle poor housing. I'm serious about housing. And in the next term of office, the people of Castries Central will see an assault on poor housing that they've never seen before. Let's continue working.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Sarah. I'm sure the people of Castries Central are looking forward to the next term in office with Auntie Sarah, Boss Lady Sarah. So, Fortuna, we're moving over to you. We have come to the end.
Yes.
So I would like for you to share some final words with the constituents as we end the program.
I just want to say to the people of Castries East, we've grown to, we've known each other and we've worked together for the last 5 years. And what we've seen is the potential in that constituency. What we want to do is to be able to now implement a number of the initiatives that the community wants, I've heard your cries. We've represented the issues within the government system. We need now to work with you to make it happen for the constituency. The leadership of our country is not in question. We already have a leader who is committed to making the changes that we want. And so the onus is on us now, all of us, to come together to ensure that we put our hands in the mud, you understand, to make it happen for the constituency. Castries East has a tremendous amount of potential. Castries East is a hub. It used to be a hub, and it will continue to be a hub if we want it to be. And so I appeal to you to come out and give us that support in the next general elections. Vote Fortuna Belrose for progress and development of that constituency. Vote for the United Workers' Party, because it's the only government, from what we know, that makes transition or makes transformation or takes communities to a different level. This is the only government that does it. And Castries East is a reflection, of the work that the UWP has done. We've seen it. And the work that has not happened, which should have happened, in the last 25 years. So we need the constituents, and I need you to give me that chance. Give me that opportunity to work with you. Give me that opportunity to be able to represent you and to represent the needs, the aspirations of you, the people of that constituency. We have a golden opportunity to be able to make that transition because we have a very capable leader. All we ask is for the opportunity from you, the people, to make that happen.
Thank you so much, Fortuna. Thank you for that. And for the people of Castries East, we are waiting for you to give Fortuna that opportunity. Phera, we're moving over to you. What are your final words for Dennery North?
I noticed that there is a divide. And it is this division that prevents us from going forward. It prevents us from achieving as a constituency, from attaining progress. You need a leader who is committed to bringing the people of Dennery North together. You need a leader who will unite the people and not divide them. Since my endorsement as the United Workers' Party candidate for Dennery North, and through my engagement with you over the few months and the various projects that this UWP government has implemented, you've seen a difference. The change is here. You need to be part of that change. So I want to encourage all of you and also thank you, the various teams that I have been working with. The women's arm, members of the youth arm, the men's arm, and the constituency branch at large. And all those who have offered their support, their words of encouragement, those who pray tirelessly every day, and they meet me and they tell me, "Napwe diebawi, napwe diebao, no kai gwen, no kai gwen." I want to thank you because I know that we have what it takes to be victorious in the upcoming election. I want to say to you, the people of Dennery North, for too long you have been suffering. Too long you have been victimized under an SLP representative. This must stop, and the time is now. We need to embrace a leader who cares about you, a leader who values you, and a leader who will listen to your needs and attends to your needs. So on election day, don't be afraid. March down to the polling division like soldiers and vote for therapy, for unity and progress.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Phera. Vote for therapy, for unity, and for progress. We are going to end our forum tonight with Boss Lady Sarah, who's going to give some final words to her constituents of Castries Central.
The people of Castries Central have journeyed with me, and if I were to speak about my life, they would have such a prominent place in my life. The people of Castries Central, you are my family. I really want to thank you for the opportunity that you have given me to serve you. But the work, although we've done a lot, must continue. It needs to continue. The United Workers' Party has proven, under our able leader, who has steered our ship in such turbulent times, we have faced what we can liken to the Third World War with the COVID pandemic. And the true test of leadership is not in good times, it's in hard times. And the hard times that we are in are unprecedented. And this is not about trying a thing. It is about recognizing that in these turbulent waters, the ship has been steered. The captain is focused. The captain has his handle on the wheel, and he's in control of that ship. People of Castries Central, now is not the time to change. Now is the time to give the United Workers' Party a mandate, a new mandate, a fresh mandate, a mandate to continue the work that is ongoing. I am so proud to serve under such a leader. I'm so proud to serve within a party that doesn't just tokenize women in politics. I'm so proud to serve in a party that really values each and every citizen and each and every person's contribution. In a party that acknowledges the dignity of the human person and looks after each and every person. And that is what I want to offer, again, in offering myself to serve as your candidate, as your MP in the next general election. Our party is strong, our party is committed, we've proven it. But we need to win each and every seat. And like in all elections, Castries Central needs to come home first. Normally, when we count those boxes, we are first to be declared victory. And I ask you to let's do that again. Let's create history again. We've done it many times. This will be my 4th general election, and I've only ever done it with you. I look forward to your support, and I pledge my commitment. I would like to continue the work that we have been doing. I wish to serve you. It is an honor for me to do it. And I ask you to please give me another opportunity. Let's keep working. Let's do it together. I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Boss Lady Sarah. For me, I am so very proud to have been part of this discussion tonight. Inspirational is the word that comes to mind. It is the only word that describes the testimonies of these great women. 3 unflappable pillars of confidence who light the flame of women's empowerment in this country, blazing the trail for young girls and women up and down our great nation and beyond. It shows the depth of talent in the UWP. The UWP truly represents the women of our country. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining the Flood-Beaubrun Forum tonight. We appreciate your presence, and we would like to remind you to follow us on all social media handles, the United Workers' Party on Facebook, our website for more information, www.uwp.stlucia.com. Once again, thank you everyone, and have a good night.
What separates us is our ability to recognize your needs and to work towards addressing them. Providing opportunities, dreaming big, and delivering bigger. What separates us is passionate representation, meticulous guarding of our social and economic indicators, and working with and for you during the most trying time in recorded history. What separates us is a cabinet guided by God for the protection, progress, and prosperity of our St. Lucia. The United Workers' Party. Let's keep working.